Turn commentary off. Okay. What about now, guys? Should be good now. Can't hear. Come on, y'all. Tell me some good news. Then cheer up, big bro. Gotcha. There we go. Okay, we are good. We are golden.
How's the light?
Good.
Did you need
Is
this
it?
one?
Oh, she said it's too loud now. Loud. I can hear you now.
Look at the thing.
Probably not, babe.
Off or on?
Yeah, you can turn it on. I just need you next to me. Okay. It's been... yeah, it's been forever. Yeah. It was loud, but you can turn it down. Okay. Lots of gain. Turn the gain down. Okay. We're almost there. We're almost there.
I don't know what instrument is.
That's probably that.
Never met you, mate.
Good morning, Vin and Sori. It's 5:27 in Sweden, and I just arrived at work, busting out a sandwich and coffee and tuning into you guys. Respect and much love.
Did you see Leah has a sister that legally changed her name to Pony?
No, she didn't.
That's what she said. I have a sister in Las Vegas. She legally changed her name to Pony, LOL.
That is awesome. Oh, that's that swing. Is Spectrum going to hold up?
Probably not.
Inshallah. Well,
but it's so late, it probably will,
right
actually.
Now, inshallah. You guys got into that skunk leaf.
No.
How are you? We're going pretty good. I'm fighting her. That's my name. So the subject matter is going to be about the morality or lack thereof of meat consumption.
Oh.
That's from the...
We don't have as long tonight either.
Yes, I heard about Jonathan Davis's wife. So, yeah, that's pretty terrible. Mm. Hey, Nexus.
We need to talk.
If God didn't want us to eat animals, he wouldn't have made them out of meat.
Oh, okay.
Hey, by the way, guys, the metal elitist might come in because he's a big animal person. So please, just... I'm not asking for anything special. Just standard village protocol, yeah? Oh, he made us out of meat, too. That's a very good point. Whoa, that's a burn. That's the biggest burn I've heard all day.
We actually like the metal elitist, guys. We seriously do. Like, off time... We turn his show on so we can watch it.
Yeah, we watch his stuff the most.
Yeah, we do.
It's him and Jamal Thomas, but right now he's Yeah, so Earthlings is a documentary that we will watch. We will probably good morning, Doug believers. We'll probably watch Earthlings today.
Yes, oh my gosh, are you serious?
Well, after I eat my pizza.
I was like, how am I gonna...
After I eat my pizza.
Can I enjoy my meal first?
The human body is made to consume meat.
Oh my gosh, 8 hours of editing?
God almighty.
What the heck are you working on? You know what? I like editing, but I don't know if I would like it if I had 8 hours worth. Nexus, sorry, shouldn't watch Earthlings.
Yeah, I was talking to Azul from the band, and she says she can't even watch it. She couldn't even watch the rest of the video where you were talking about the...
When I was explaining it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So this is going to be an interesting journey for us. Oh, let me message the big homie. I mean, he's in the...
Oh.
Of course, if you don't want to talk about veganism or whatnot, that's okay too. We could talk about something else. Yes, we are talking about veganism. That's like priority one. But if you have something else to talk about, we can talk about too. Yes, ecstatics. I'm feeling better. A little bit down about Jonathan's wife. Yesterday was a really tough day. Pony and I were talking about it. It was just really evil day, man. And
Yeah.
Jonathan's wife, and then that girl from Huntress. It was pretty terrible.
Dirk. Yeah.
I have a theory to put forth if you're not sick of me today. No, I'm not sick of you. We just spent 2 hours together. What's to be sick? Hey, Chris. I appreciate that, my guy.
Okay, Dirk. Oh my gosh.
Sure,
Hi,
Eric.
Jenkins. I'm a vegan in between my steaks. Oh, Eric. Thank you for recommending me Logos Bible software, Mr. Vin.
Okay, so Cannon Fodder has just called me on Skype, and I'm assuming the big homie's going to talk to me about veganism. Are you on, sir?
No. Oh, I'm on, mate. Relax.
Oh, okay. What's up, buddy?
I didn't get a chance to slip it in earlier with the thing that we won't talk about. But there's, I'm sure you're familiar with Rene Descartes and existentialism and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah? Cool. So, if the only thing I can truly know as a human being is that I think and that therefore I exist, right? Then I cannot and nor can you definitively prove that you have legs, even if we've seen them. Just wanted to make that known. I've been wanting to say that for about 2 weeks now, and I needed to do it.
Very, very good.
Alright, mate.
All right, man.
I'll leave you to the vegan thing.
That's all. Gary Yovsky, a famous vegan, says the whole thing about killing animals is the biggest Holocaust. See, I don't like using terms like Holocaust to describe what's going on with animals. Like, I don't particularly like what's going on with animals if what Sori is saying is true, but I don't like using the term Holocaust to describe it because I don't like the concept of making an equivalency between animals and humans. To me is just one, philosophically unsatisfying, and two, actually very dangerous. And so I don't like terms like genocide and things like that. Metal elitist.
Do you think that, well, what does the word Holocaust mean?
Holocaust actually means sacrifice is the actual, it's like a burnt offering. Like if you look at the Septuagint in the Old Testament, the Greek version of the Old Testament, Holocaust is actually, the word is actually used. So
technically speaking, the word fits for what we do to the animals.
It's like a burnt offering.
Sacrificing them for our desires and
stuff.
But you just don't like the same word being used for humans and animals because humans have more value.
Language evolves, and post-World War II, the term Holocaust is specifically reserved for what happened to the Jewish people in the Nazi pogroms, etc.
Yeah.
And so to use that term to me is to make an equivalency between what happened to actual human beings and what's happening to animals.
Yep.
And I think that's I think it's dangerous if you carry that out to its logical conclusion. And I also think that it's insensitive and disrespectful to the people that died in the Holocaust.
No, I think I can agree with that for sure.
Killing animals not good, yet eating salad and killing plants is okay. Okay, so what I need you to do, Metal Elitist, is to call us in on Skype. Do you have Skype? We do eat an unnatural amount of meat. I agree with that.
The Bible says that the life is in the blood. So then, by definition, the plant doesn't have the same type of life that an animal does.
Yeah.
Where are the fashaw shirts?
Yeah. Okay. Find us, Vin and Sori, Underground Metal Elitist, and then you can call us.
Oh my God, I'm so hungry right now. You haven't eaten all day, right?
Nope.
Thank you, Nexus.
Could sap be blood? Very good point. Here's the thing to consider. And all vegetable diet
kills... Is there a DNA strand in sap?
Kills field mice. Hey, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Chris. We appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah.
What do you think of the satanic statue in Arkansas put on display in the Capitol done by the Satanic Temple? I mean, it's good for the goose. It's good for the gander. I mean, I think it's an interesting talking point. I mean, I'm not looking at it as a sign of the apocalypse or anything like that. I mean, I think they did it to make a point, and the point's made, and you have the discussion in the public square.
Is that true?
What?
There really is DNA in sap?
We'd have to ask Alec.
Yeah.
What am I searching? Vin and Sori.
No. Vin and space, sorry.
Well, I think if he puts in Vin and Sori, he'll be okay.
Yeah, you should find our little picture, too. I put that on last night. There was somebody that said, are you going to eat fake meat burger? No, I told you in the video that I'm a hypocrite because I'm still eating meat. I'm having chicken tendies and french fries and salad when it arrives.
Big homie.
What's up, guys?
Who
Hi.
who am I talking to?
What's going on? Big homie. Hey, what's up?
This is the middle elitist.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
You'd be talking to me, man. Chris.
I could tell by that voice.
Okay, we're talking to the underground metal elitist. Excellent. Hey, my guy, do me a favor and mute your
I'm doing well.
mute your computer. All right, you good now? You ready?
Okay, but if I mute my computer, I can't hear you.
From the phone?
You can't-
Oh, did you call us from your computer?
Somebody message in the message, and did you call from the computer or from the phone?
Yes, I called from my computer.
Can you Skype from...
Your phone?
Yeah. Or put on headphones?
PC. Yes, I called from my computer.
Do you have a phone?
Yes, I can.
Or he can use his
Okay,
headphones.
so-
That's the other thing too.
I need you to call us from your phone. Skype us from your phone.
Headphones.
Okay?
Satanic, not static.
Don't worry. That was a
No.
little. That's a minor
Yeah.
glitch. He'll return soon enough.
We will get this. How long is this going to be a topic? This vegan stuff? Who knows? We don't have as long tonight, so it might, I don't know,
Yeah, I've got an appointment with someone else, so
multiple people.
that's true.
Yep.
Just have an actual headset. How hard could it be, mate? Noobs. Oh, it looks different when they're calling in from a phone. Isn't that interesting?
Is treating animals well before killing them that much better than not treating them well and killing them? I think so. I think it's different, for sure. Like,
Hold on.
hold up, Chris.
What about now?
What's going on?
All right. I think we're good to go. All right. Are you ready?
Hello?
Yep. Can you hear us? Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
I don't know what's happening, but I can't hear you guys anymore.
Why can't you hear me? Is your speaker on? Accept. Let me call him. Boop. I'm calling him right now. CEO of Rockstar. Speaker on. Speaker on. Hello.
Now I hear you. What's up?
You good?
Hey, what's up?
Damn old people in technology.
Illuminati confirmed. Okay, so are you a vegan?
Yes.
I'm talking to the underground metal elitist, ladies and gentlemen. He has
Yeah.
his own YouTube channel.
He's our friend.
Okay, so if you just go to YouTube and Google underground metal elitist, you will find his channel. Okay, so so you're a vegan, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
How long have you
I
been a
am.
vegan?
15 years.
Yo, so no meat at all.
No, absolutely not.
None at all, ever, for 15
Nope.
years.
Are your parents
None.
vegan? Are your parents vegan?
My mom isn't, but she eats very little meat, and she's very compassionate about animals as well.
But your dad is?
I haven't seen my dad in 25 years,
Jeez.
so I don't know.
Damn, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm over it. Got over it a long time ago.
My guy, I don't know, man. I saw you in a video like a couple weeks back, and you said that you had some fish once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm at somebody's house and they've made a meal and they don't know that I'm vegan, I'm not going to be rude. I mean, at least if it's fish, I don't feel quite as bad. I mean, I know fish are life as well. It's just, I'm not going to be rude and not eat it if they've made it. Now, if people ask me ahead of time, I'll tell them no. That's the only thing I'll consider eating would be fish. So, yeah.
Okay, so you're like...
As far as buying it or anything like that, no, I'm not. I don't buy any kind of meat at all.
What about cheese?
Pizza's really hard to get without cheese. There are more pizza chains opening up that use vegan cheese, and once they do, I will be opting for that.
Okay,
I don't eat pizza very much either.
So you're a vegetarian more, not vegan.
Well, more yes, but I don't eat eggs or drink milk at all, and cheese is extremely rare for me too.
Okay, so you're like...
I'm treading the line between vegetarian and vegan on a consistent basis, yes. I mean, cheese is something that if somebody gets a pizza, we order pizza and they don't have vegan cheese, I will say, okay, well, that's fine, but that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so you're idealistically, your perfect self is vegan.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And what's your why are you a vegan?
Because I cannot contribute to the slaughter of millions of animals in the way that we're going about it. Now, if somebody here, this is where people sometimes get vegans that think we're extremists and that we're not sound logical people. If people decide that they're going to hunt something, and I don't agree with hunting, but I think if somebody lets an animal die of natural causes and they want to eat the meat, that's fine. I'm fine with that. It's the torture, the abuse, and the emotions that these animals go through on the way to the slaughterhouse, and how this is all just completely normalized. And it's completely normal for our species to do this. And I just don't agree with us abandoning this moral concept, but being for other moral concepts when it comes to human life being superior to animal life. It just doesn't make any sense to me, because to me, everything is sentient and everything is equal. In the eyes of God, as you guys would put it, in the eyes of Jesus, for me it's in the eyes of the divine mind, which is what I equate to God. And I just don't think that any form of life is more important than another.
Well, all life isn't equal in the eyes of God. All sentient life isn't equal in the eyes of God at all. In Genesis 1:26, humans are created in the image of God and are told to exercise dominion over the animals.
Well, I don't agree with that. So I choose not to exercise that myself. So okay. I don't agree.
So this is where... So I don't like the idea... did you see the Gojira video, the whole thing?
Yes, I did, and I loved it.
Okay. So when she started talking about the stuff that they were doing, I don't even want to describe, because it really, honestly, it's a very, very challenging video. It's probably the most challenging video we've ever made, for me personally.
Okay.
So I'm not a fan of that. I don't like doing that to the animals. But I'm also not a fan of equating... Okay, so like when I used to live in New York City, I'd be at 149th and Grand Concourse, and we'd see these rats, running under the subway, Yeah. I
used to have pet rats too, so I love them as well. They're very intelligent creatures.
They are. And the idea that somebody would say that the life of a human child is equivalent in value to the life of one of the rats in the subway is bananas to me. That's crazy to me.
Okay, well, I could see why you would think it's crazy, but I also can consider the point that the person in question you just referred to made as well.
Which is what?
Because, I don't have the illusion that we're more important. That illusory perspective has been gone out of my mind ever since I became vegan, that we were more important. It's because I've always felt the close connection with nature and animals, and I know that without those things, without ecosystems, without Earth, we can't live. And I believe in respecting everything equally.
Okay, what's your basis for respecting
animal life? Just is so natural for me, and people try and sway me on that all the time, and they have that argument. Well, a baby is more important than a rat, or this, and I just completely disagree. I completely disagree with that myself. So. Okay,
so let me ask you a question, because a lot of my perspectives on life have to do with would it work in the real world, right? So can I run a thought experiment with you real quick?
Sure.
That's another good point. Rats brought the Black Plague. I want to talk about that in a second. So you show up to my house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, "Hey, man, what's for dinner?" And I pull over the thing. I don't know what they call that. The pot or whatever.
Sure.
I pull it open, and there's a fully formed human baby, but he's been cooked.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, "Okay, do you want the leg or the thigh? What do you want?" What would you say?
I don't believe in cannibalism either. And this is where a lot of people get me wrong. Like in my stream that I did tonight, I talked about how if we put people in the same situations that those factory animals and farm animals are forced to endure, but not kill them. I wasn't saying kill humans. I was saying make them go through the same emotional traumas, the same experiences, and have no control over their lives and absolutely no freedom. I guarantee you those people would change their minds about whether or not we're superior to animals.
Well, hold on.
And they would be able to empathize with those emotions that those animals are going through, and they would be able to see it from that perspective.
Well, hold on for a second. So would you eat the baby at all?
No, I wouldn't.
What if I said I went through a lot of trouble to cook this baby, and you're gonna disrespect me by not eating this baby?
I still wouldn't, man. I mean, it.
Okay.
I don't know if I could bring myself to do that.
Okay.
mean, I don't even like doing it with fish. So like I said, I avoid it as much. I mean, and that's why I don't go to people's houses as they're barbecuing, because there's people are like, you don't cook vegetables on a barbecue. There's only meat that touches my grill. I go, well, count me out.
Okay, well, so, but didn't you say that you would eat the fish though?
I have.
Because you don't want to be rude.
True.
So doesn't that mean?
But I mean, it depends. I mean, most of the time I'm gonna say no anyway.
Right,
but there's only been like 3 or 4 times in my life where I've said yes, and I've been to countless cookouts and things like that where people are serving fish, and I won't eat it. So there you go.
Right, but there is a space in your mind where you would eat the fish. You've done it.
I've done it 3 or 4 times, yeah, in my entire life since I've been vegan. Yes.
But you would never eat the baby.
I want to say no, but I mean, unless I was in the situation, who knows?
I mean, are you being serious? I mean, that's not really debatable, is it? Like if somebody had a fully formed baby in there on a plate, you'd probably call the police, right? Like, let's just be real. You wouldn't debate about whether or not you're going to eat that baby, man.
If we you'd be surprised how my mind can work at times, Vin.
Yeah, but
you would.
Okay, so you're saying you would consider because you hold them to be equal. You would give just as much consideration to eating a baby than you would to eating fish. I mean, are you saying that honestly? That's where you're going.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't be any more upset about it either way myself.
Yeah, I think
that's just where I stand on that, right? I mean, and if it's crazy, if people think I'm nuts, well, I don't care. I don't go around hurting people. I don't fucking, you know, I've never been involved in violent crime. I've never been in jail for anything related to violence. So whatever, you know.
Well, no, I'm not judging you for it. I'm just saying that
I know. Okay.
it just seems to me that you hold a lower value to fish than you would a human. Like with a fish, you're like, I don't want to be rude. I'm not gonna be rude. They put it before me. I'll eat it. But with a baby, it's like, whoa, I definitely wouldn't do that.
That's not entirely true. I don't hold fish lower than humans either. I don't.
No, I'm saying like what you would do in the real world. Because in the real world, you have eaten fish because you didn't want to be rude. But I don't think you would even consider eating a baby. I don't think you'd say, "Oh man, there's a child. I think you'd probably call the police.
I wish I could call the police on people that eat beef too, but I can't because nobody cares about that. There's no laws in place to protect animals.
Well, I agree with that, but I just don't see it, man.
So if you only had $5 left and you had a fish tank, you're saying you wouldn't know whether you would feed your mom or feed your fish? It's the same to you? Or let's say it's not your mom, let's say it's the neighbor kid, and the kid was starving to death. You'd have a debate between whether you'd feed your fish or you'd feed the neighbor kid?
Sure.
I don't think you're being honest.
I am being honest. Like I said, all life's equal to me. So I'd be really torn between the two, especially if it was something I was attached to, like a pet, because they're family members, just as important to me.
Okay, so then the rats caused the bubonic plague, right?
1349, one of the greatest bands in the world.
So if you had a DeLorean and you could go back in time, and I said, Chris, kill all these rats before they go into this village and kill all these people, are you saying that you wouldn't do that? You'd let those rats go in there and spread the bubonic plague and kill all those human beings?
It's a natural cycle. I think that we were, at that time, there was some kind of event that was supposed to happen that didn't get carried out. I think these things are happening for a reason.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, those are existential questions. I think they happen for a reason too. What I'm saying is, if you could stop it by killing those rats instead of having the rats go and infect these human beings, would you do it?
No.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything else?
Oh, I did an hour and a half live stream about this already, and there was a lot of people that agreed with my stances and some that didn't, and I'm fine with that. I don't mean any disrespect to anyone who doesn't, but that's just the way I think and see things. So.
Yeah, I mean, I get okay. So I just find it very, very hard to believe that you would
find that hard to believe because my moral sensibilities are different than yours. So of course it's going to seem to be into like an alien concept, right?
No, the vast majority of people in the room have don't believe, for example, that humans are in the image of God. But everybody in the chat is saying no. I wouldn't. We would call the cops if there was a baby on the. I mean, that's
okay.
That's so. What's your standard? So, like, is a cockroach a sentient being?
Of course, it's all life.
Okay, so
everything has a consciousness. Everything has an awareness of itself and its existence. If it's connected to divinity and the creation, and everything is creation, then yes, it's sentient.
Okay, so then, aren't you doing the same thing if you're eating vegetables? Aren't plants sentient then, from that perspective of the world?
Well, I would go on to say that yes, plants are likely sentient. In fact, when I used to grow cannabis plants, I grew very attached to them, and they responded to my energy, and I would talk with them and treat them well, and they flourished because of that. So yes, I would agree and say that plants are sentient.
Okay, so then aren't you killing plants then by being a vegan? How is that different?
Yes, I am, but I gotta eat something.
So you do value human life over other life then?
I value. The thing is, though, plants aren't being tortured. by the millions. They're not being put into these conditions and being forced to live the way animals are being forced to live. So that's kind of an absurd comparison.
No, it's not a comparison at all, because as Sori said, if this was back in the day when we were on a farm and all that, she would be okay with it. But you're saying even on the farm and it wasn't, and they had free reign, killing an animal is bad because they're...
No. I've said that if people farm animals, treat them well, love them and respect them, and they're basically going to die anyway, and you euthanize them and use everything, fine. I wouldn't do it myself, but if somebody's going to do that, fine. It's a lot less evil than what's going on in the animal industry.
Okay, so I'm with you that what's going on in the animal industry is wrong, but I don't think you're being consistent when you say that you value all life, because you clearly value human life above plant life, even though you say they're equal.
Well, but I have to eat something.
No, you don't.
Right?
If they're equal, then, I mean, you just die without killing, right? I mean, isn't that what you just said about the rats and the bubonic plague?
Sure. I mean, I don't know. That, when people bring that argument up to me, I'm thinking, okay, yes, plants are sentient.
Okay.
But like I said, plants aren't dying by the millions, although our trees and a lot of our plant life is at threat because of us, which is very terrible. I mean, but when you kill a plant, it'll still grow. You can still plant more. These animals are being force-bred to die and to endure abuse and torture and everything that's horrific about human behavior. The aberrance that we acclimate to serial killers can be acclimated to the way that we treat animals.
Well, there's a correlation.
It's exactly the same behavior.
Well, the difference is obviously that human beings and animals are ontologically different. I think that
Ow.
I just, for me, my view of the world has to be, I got to be consistent across the board. Somebody said it's not about consistency. Well, it is for me. If you can't be consistent with your worldview in the real world, then it's not something I can subscribe to. And I'm seeing some inconsistencies in your argumentation, although I will say that I think like I've got to do more research about what's actually happening in the animal industry. I've got to do some research because I got to see it for myself like I do with any other topic. And I will say that it's a topic that I have not really looked at in depth. So it's something I have to look at.
What inconsistencies are you seeing? I mean, I don't think plant life is any less than us. And if I didn't have to eat it all and still live, I wouldn't.
Well, why is your life...
If there was a way to sustain my life without having to kill anything, I would do it.
Well,
unfortunately, there is not. At this time, we don't have the technology yet. However, there are Buddhists. There is a lot of people that in monkhood and things like that have actually sustained themselves by just drinking water. So that's a really interesting concept to me, and I forget what it's called, but I've been looking that up as well. I mean, if I could do it and I wasn't going to die from not eating, I wouldn't eat anything that was alive. Because,
that's my point.
There is consistency to my argument because I think all life is sacred.
He doesn't need his beer.
Across the board.
Well,
I don't even like killing bugs, man. Like mosquitoes, they want to suck on my blood, so yeah, I'm going to kill them.
So aren't you placing your life above the mosquito when you kill him?
Sorry?
Aren't you placing your life above the mosquitoes when you kill him?
Well, yeah, I am.
Okay,
yes,
so then in the real world,
you're making absurd comparisons here, man.
No, I'm not.
We're talking about, yes, you are, bro.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying. Well, listen to what I'm saying, and then maybe you can comment on it. The idea that all life is equal in your eyes is not borne out by the fact that there are tons of instances in which you put human life above the life of plants and bugs.
certain insects. Most of them I don't kill. Only mosquitoes.
Right, but you agree that when you kill mosquitoes, you're putting your human life above theirs.
Sure.
Okay, so in the real world, you don't act as if everything is equal. You act as if that your life and the life of the people that you love should have priority over plants and bugs.
I don't think I said that either, but okay.
No, I'm not saying what you say. I'm saying what you do. Your actions demonstrate that you prioritize your life and the life of others above the life of plants and certain bugs.
Okay, well, like I said, if I didn't have to eat plants to live, I wouldn't. But I do, so I've got to eat something, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you drink beer, and that takes plants, and you don't need that. You don't need that beer.
True, but I enjoy beer. I think we're talking about two very different things here.
No.
They're two very, very different levels of awareness.
No, I'm agreeing with you that if the animal abuse that Sori described is actually happening, then something needs to be done. But it
is happening, Ben, and I wouldn't lie about that shit.
But the logical issue, though, of you saying that all living things are equal is not borne out by how you live your life, and that's what I'm talking about. That's a separate issue.
I don't even like killing mosquitoes.
I'm not saying you like it. I'm saying you do it.
I do, yeah, if they're sitting on me.
Okay.
Because, I mean, they can spread disease.
That affect human beings.
That affect everything, actually. Animals can get sick from it, too.
Okay. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch Earthlings among other things. I don't think that your view is sustainable in the real world.
Okay, that is the kind of thinking that's not changing anything. Because you have to be radical to change things, or nothing will change.
But if we stayed completely consistent with your view, we'd all die, bro, because we wouldn't eat anything.
And you know what? I don't consider human extinction a bad thing.
All right.
I do not.
All right. Well, if you have a sort of misanthropic view of human beings, then I see what you're saying. I, for one, love human beings, so I think that that's a terrible eventuality.
It's an eventuality, period. We're not going to be here forever. Everything's cyclic, and everything will die off, and the Earth will revitalize. So We're not immortal, and we're not going to be. The human race will die.
Well, I disagree with that.
And if we don't learn from our mistakes, it's going to happen sooner than later. And this is the inevitable fact that people can't wrap their head around. They're like, how can you say that? How can you talk like that? I'm like, well, look what we're doing to this place.
Yeah, I think...
So is it any surprise that people become misanthropic? How is it surprising? It's a natural reaction.
Well, yeah, I think if you don't have a biblical worldview on sin, then you could definitely become misanthropic for sure. But
religion is another topic we can debate at some point too, and how I feel about that.
You've got a pretty religious worldview yourself, my man. You invoke the divine. You said that all plants and animals are.
I do believe that something happens when we die. I just don't know because I'm not there yet. And I think if you guys attribute whatever you believe to what happens, and it gives you peace of mind, have at it.
Yeah.
But nothing is absolute and nothing is dogmatic.
All right. Isn't that an absolute statement?
Dogma.
When you say nothing is absolute, isn't that an absolute?
Right? Well, nothing is. Everything is constantly changing and interchangeable.
But isn't that an absolute statement when you say nothing is absolute?
Shit, I think one of my cats got out. Hold on.
I think there's somebody else that wanted to call.
Yeah, we've got an actual vegan that said they really want to call in.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're gonna have pretty much the same perspectives I've got. Maybe they'll have a different, I don't know. Most vegans feel the same way I feel. So
I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of overlap between you and this person. So was it P1ANTN?
Yeah, Skype us.
Please Skype us, Vin and Sori.
okay, all right, guys.
Much love. Everybody go. Underground Metal Elitist. Check him out. He's on YouTube. Like, subscribe.
Bye.
I guess you were being rude, Sori. Somebody finally called you out on your rude.
For what?
Your rudity. I don't know.
Aaron, I don't even know if you're being serious. Tell me why I'm being rude. Maybe because I'm eating salad and potatoes. See? Vin and Sori potato killers.
That right there. No, Ben, that doesn't work. Hey, Albany Rose.
Aaron just subbed, so apparently my
Nice.
my rudeness.
Albany Rose in the house. Hey, Albany, are you a vegan or vegetarian? I wouldn't mind being a pescatarian.
Okay, so one plant or whatever. Oh, I didn't catch.
He's looking.
Oh, he's trying to find it. I thought that one was a girl. It's so funny. Usually I'm right.
Yes, we did, Steven. Yes, we did.
Well, Aaron, I figured you had, but then you were like 1 minute saying I'm rude, I think it was. And then you're like, I subbed. So I'm like, okay, well, thanks.
How do I search Skype? There should be a thing like
I don't know.
like this. There's a search button. You know what? Just give me your phone number. I really want to talk to you. What's up, Mandy Flynn? Shout out to the big homie Mandy Flynn.
Email us. Email us, vinandsori@gmail.com. Email us your phone number. Don't put your phone number here.
Vegetarian. I was vegan, but I couldn't do the lifestyle. No one will take away my dead cow Iron Maiden leather jacket. That is interesting. Yeah, vegan to me seems to be more of like a philosophy of life than just a food choice. Whereas vegetarian seems to be more vegetarian seems different to me than vegan. Vegan seems to be a whole philosophy of life.
When I was a vegetarian, I was switching over to be vegan. And that was extremely difficult for me. Because if you are just going into it yourself, there's so much research that you need to know what things you can't use and what things you can. There's hair products and lip glosses and all kinds of stuff that you use just on a regular and you don't think of it. If you're a vegetarian, then you can be like, okay, Vin and Sori, if all your kids are trapped in a fire and you could only save one, who would you save? We'd get them all out.
We'd all die in the fire.
Right.
No, I don't. Okay, that's the number, babe. Do your magic.
Mm-hmm.
Go vegan for health and not for. No, I don't think veganism is a cult. I mean, this is actually the first time in my life I've actually really stopped and really thought through the. So I have a ton of research to do because, as you guys know, like, as I get focused on something, I got to look at everything and listen for hours and read books and all that jazz. Yes, PANTN. They'd save the candy. I mean, one thing is that the correlation between animals and human life is just crazy to me.
Hello? Yeah, I can. You're going to have to mute us in the background. Because it's coming through. So dang it, Vin was right. You are a guy.
Ask people if honey is vegan. No, I talked to.
Okay, so you're muted. So we're good.
I was talking to
Lindsay. What do
Lindsay.
you want us to call you by?
I was talking to Lindsay Schoolcraft about this, and she said no honey. Like she went out of her way to say no honey.
Oh, okay. All right, so we got planting on. Here you go.
Thank you, Albany. Okay, so what's this guy's name?
Planting.
Planting.
Planting, like you're planting.
Planting.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, my brother, how you doing?
Good, good. I just found your channel.
Whoa, and there you are. You made the show already. Look at you.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. How's it going?
It's going good, my man. So, talk to me about your story. Like, if you could encapsulate it in like 3 minutes. Tell me. Here's what I want to know. Okay. I want to know, is there a combination of morality, philosophy, and health that led you to veganism? Is it only health, only morality? What's the story? Go.
Alright, so I'll start off by, it was a health decision. So I just did my research basically on nutrition. At the time, I was like bulking up, like I wanted to put on a lot of muscle. So I was eating a lot of animal products. I was eating like 3 chicken breasts a day, like tons of rice, tons of whey protein. And I was just feeling like really like sick. Like I was putting on size, but I was feeling sick. And I was like, this can't be right. So then as I was just researching nutrition, I was like, oh, well, all right, veganism helps with this. Veganism helps with that. So it started out with health. And then over time, I think the longer you become vegan, the more the ethics kind of come into play. If that makes sense. So it's been 3 years for me. I caught the tail end of the other guy who was on before me, and I kind of disagree with certain things he was saying, and I think the majority of vegans would disagree that all life isn't equal. There's levels to sentience. I believe he was saying that everything was on the same playing field, and I would have to disagree with that.
Okay, so would you say that we're at the top of the line as far as sentience and value goes?
Yes, humans are at the top of the line of sentience and value, but that doesn't mean that animals don't have sentience and value, obviously.
Okay, I agree.
So,
I agree with that, 100%. And as a Christian, I believe that God agrees with that, because there's an entire city that got saved. One, because they were defenseless humans, and the second reason was there was a lot of cattle in the city. So basically, God said, I didn't want to destroy the city because of the babies and because of the cows, basically. So I agree with that they do have value, but also that they're not as valuable as human beings. Do you have any kids?
No, I don't.
Okay. So then, so that being the case,
Wait. Where do people get their value in your worldview? Like, why are they at the top?
As far as like ethics and morality, I think it's generally stems from the golden rule. Like, just treat others how you want to be treated. I guess you could say is a good basis to start.
Okay. So
wait, are you saying because... I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
So are you saying because we can exercise the golden rule, that's what puts us at the top?
Yeah. And I think even more so now than ever, especially we're living in the 2000s, everything is kind of laid out for us. Like, there's really no reason not to be vegan if you live in the modern world as well.
Okay. So you mentioned nutrition. Was there a book that you read? Was there a... See what I'm saying? Was there something that you could... I'm asking for reference points here.
Okay. Well, when I was starting out, there's a great website called nutritionfacts.org. It's a nonprofit website, basically unbiased, by a doctor named Dr. Greger, who just combs through all the medical literature and just kind of breaks down the studies. So when I was researching veganism, I was kind of going by the studies. But he released a book called How Not to Die, where he compiled all the studies and basically put it down into a book. If you want something simple and easy to read, you can get it on Amazon. It's called How Not to Die.
Okay.
And it's basically, we're all gonna die. It's not saying we're gonna live forever, but it's like, all right, there's top killers in the world. There's heart disease. There's type 2 diabetes. There's cancer. You do not want to die from those, because if you look at it, they're actually preventable. And a lot of the times these diseases are caused by animal products. If you start to really look at it, you notice that they're not as healthy as they seem, or as they're portrayed to be. And also, there's a lot of things like industry-funded studies that kind of muddy the waters, I guess you could say,
Like, for instance, the egg industry funds a lot of studies about cholesterol, saying that, see, eggs don't really affect your cholesterol, even though there's tons of cholesterol in eggs. But when you go and research who funded the studies, it's funded by the egg industry, and they're kind of flawed by design. I mean, I don't know how far you want to get into it, but
well, I'm curious about your research, because it first started with nutrition. I mean, I do want to expand to the other issues later. So Dr. Greger, How Not to Die, nutritionfacts.org. Everybody check it out if you're interested in. Is that a good place to kind of start?
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Okay.
And it's also on YouTube, nutritionfacts.org, and they're just like great 1 or 2 minute videos about like dairy, eggs, meat consumption, and all different types of topics as well.
Okay. Now, anytime somebody publishes something or takes a view on it, there's always a doctor or specialist with a contrary view. Have you looked at any criticism of Dr. Greger's work?
There's no real criticism of his work, because once again, he's just portraying the studies. He's just bringing them out into the open. So if people were to criticize it, would be criticizing the studies. But I mean, there's a lot of, opposing diets. Like there's the carnivore diet, there's the paleo diet, and things of that nature that oppose veganism. Like us as vegans, we're saying, eat fruits, eat plants. And then people are saying, in the carnivore movement or the paleo movement, specifically now we're dealing with the carnivore movement. People are eating like raw meat or eating just pure meat.
What?
I don't know if you follow Jordan Peterson, but
yeah,
he
we
does
do.
that for some kind of chronic disease he has. But it's pretty weird that that's what people are doing now. We're just seeing a lot of that.
What about keto? There's a lot of people singing the praises of keto. We got a guy lost 228 pounds. He feels better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with keto, but I mean, I know it was something designed to help like epilepsy, and you're cutting carbohydrates out of your diet, and carbohydrates are glucose. It's like the fuel for humans. It's like the macronutrient. Like if you're in nature and you pick berries off the trees, it's like carbohydrates. If you eat fruit, it's a carbohydrate. So you're just like eliminating that. Of course, you're going to lose weight if you eliminate carbs out of your diet, but I mean, I can't imagine consuming tons of like fats being healthy, especially from the research that I did, that the number one cause of like heart disease is saturated fat and cholesterol. So in the keto diet, you're just consuming pure fats and pure proteins, and I don't think that could be A, sustainable, and B, healthy in the long run.
Okay. Okay. So nutrition, right?
Yeah.
So
we can talk about whatever nutrition or the morals of it, but
so you started first with nutrition.
Right.
And so you're like, well, shoot, let me try this out. So you try it out. Starts working for you?
So, yeah, I mean, you'll hear a lot of, like, woo-woo. Sometimes, like, oh, my God, the vegan diet changed my life. I feel like I'm glowing. I feel 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is it's not really like that. You'll feel basically the same. The only real noticeable difference is I had a nagging back pain. When I went vegan, that's the only thing that really changed. It kind of subsided. But it's not like you're just like, feeling like 100% every day. I do try to stay fit and I do try to stay active. And my fitness hasn't declined at all. So, I don't want you to, if you're really trying to go down this path, to look at it as some kind of like miracle diet or anything like that. It's actually just a sustainable diet, something you could do long term. I mean, you have whole natural foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, legumes and beans, and you should be all set. I mean, now you can really go anywhere and get vegan meat alternatives as well. Whole Foods has them. If I'm in a pinch, I could go to Taco Bell. If I want to be, like craving foods, I could get the bean burritos at Taco Bell, get it fresco style, no cheese. I could go to White Castle. I could get the Impossible Burger. So there's definitely vegan options that are always popping up. But if you're doing it for health reasons, a whole foods plant-based vegan diet is definitely the way to go.
Okay. Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Or one more series of questions? So
I have a question too.
Go ahead.
Did you feel weaker?
No, I didn't feel weaker. Like I said, I felt the same. I try to keep everything else consistent. Even as far as the macronutrients I took in, like macronutrients being carbs, fats, and proteins. I just happen to be, like, I work in the fitness industry, and those were some things that I always calculated. I always calculated my carbs, my fats, and proteins. So believe it or not, I kept those the same. Like, I kept eating the same amount of carbohydrates I did when I ate meat, but I lost weight, and I actually leaned out. I was wondering why, and I realized that the foods that I was eating tons more vegetables, and the vegetables are fiber, so I wasn't accounting the fact that I was eating more fiber. So I actually lost body fat, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but like I slimmed down like in the stomach region, just because I was counting the carbs the same, but the fiber in the vegetables kind of made me lose weight, if that makes sense. Because those aren't like, there's soluble and insoluble fiber, and basically I wasn't actually digesting those carbohydrates, if that makes sense. So that's kind of a good byproduct of it. I noticed that a lot of times people will go vegan, but they won't stay vegan, and I kind of have to ask the question why that is. So what I'm thinking to myself, a lot of people do it for health, or they do it for weight loss. But if you're going vegan for health, you just have to be mindful that you're eating enough calories. Because sometimes when you eat whole plant foods, you end up not eating enough, and then you're losing weight, and that's when you'll lose energy, and that's when you'll feel kind of bogged down.
Okay.
It's because you're just like basically eating salads and
Yeah.
like chopped up carrots, and that's when you're like in a caloric deficit too much, and that's when it can be bad.
Yeah.
So, don't be afraid to eat on a vegan diet, I would say.
I think, like, when I was a vegetarian and kind of switching toward being vegan, I wasn't afraid to eat. It was just that those types of foods were not as desirable as a burger and an ice cream. Like, you pack on the calories that way. But when you're doing a vegan diet, when you're eating those healthier choices, like, I guess, like, desire-wise, I didn't want that much. So it was hard to, like, keep up with what I should have.
Right.
Especially, like, if you're somebody who, like, at that point, I was going from being vegetarian to being vegan, so I was already, like, making healthier choices. Now, like, I have the worst eating habits because, honestly, since we've been doing this channel, because we're working so much that we're like, order the food. So we're, like, eating like garbage. We'll probably all have a heart attack soon.
Thank you for that.
No, I definitely understand that, when you're trying something new, like trying to switch up your diet, but you're working, and you're not like thinking about food.
Yeah.
And especially you're trying to be on this vegan diet and you're not thinking about it. The thing is to just order what you're used to and just eat it quick, and it's not necessarily the healthier thing. I totally understand that. But just maybe a little bit of planning, and I would say even keep it simple. I just always have like a can of like chickpeas and a can of like diced tomatoes. Like, if I just throw the chickpeas and diced tomatoes together, like I'll have a meal. I mean, I do eat kind of simple, as opposed to other people, but I live in New Jersey, and there's definitely some vegan restaurants I can hit up as well.
So let me ask a dumb question. So you're in the sports medicine industry, is that what you said?
Yeah. I'm in the fitness industry, right?
Okay, let me ask a really dumb question. So I was watching a special on LeBron James, and he's got a personal chef, and his chef he eats a ton of salmon, right? Mm-hmm. And LeBron spends like $1 million on his body a year. If being vegan was the most healthy thing to do, why wouldn't he just go on a vegan diet? This is probably a stupid question, but do you have any insight into that? Maybe as a sports, maybe as an athlete, you have different, specialized issues that you need, or what?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I guess, quote unquote, common knowledge is that salmon is healthy for you. Like, you'll hear things that like it has the omega-3s,
Yep.
They'll have like the healthy fats and stuff like that. And also the chef. It depends on his background. Like, he's working with LeBron James. A lot of chefs aren't used to cooking vegan cuisine. So maybe the combination of the two. But when I look at a situation like that, like I'll look at it and say, like, where did you get the salmon? Is it factory grown? Or even if it's wild caught, like, is it really? A lot of times when you deal with seafood, you got to look at things like mercury or heavy metals, or even there's something in fish called phthalates, which they kind of impede your endocrine system. So there's things about fish that aren't healthy, except the omega-3. That's probably the only healthiest thing. But as a vegan, you might say, where do you get your omega-3 from? And the same place that the fish get the omega-3 from. The fish get omega-3 from seaweed. So, like, I could just eat the seaweed as opposed to eating the fish, if that makes sense. So, like, I'll have things like sushi, like, I'll put avocado, I'll get nori wraps, and I'll put rice with it. So, like, an avocado roll right there. I'll get some omega-3, some iodine, and, just without the fish.
Okay.
But, it's a slow process, but there is a shift in the sports world, I think, that people and athletes are going vegan.
It wasn't Adrian Peterson. It was running back Arian Foster. He went vegan.
Arian Foster.
Yeah, he's running back for the Texans. Now, at the same time, he retired, so we haven't really found an actual, like, high-level athlete that went there. But I appreciate you, my guy. Let me ask you one more other thing.
Yeah.
Do you have, now that you've been vegan, did it evolve into a moral question for you after a while?
Yeah. So, the further you dive down this, this rabbit hole, I guess you could say, it's definitely about the morals, because, like I said before, you're kind of dealing with the golden rule. Just treat others how you want to be treated. And, I hate to say it, but cows have feelings, pigs have feelings, and chickens want to live. They're sentient beings. And the caller before me was saying that plants are sentient, which is scientifically actually false. Plants aren't sentient. They don't have a brain. They don't have a central nervous system. But animals that do have a brain, do have a central nervous system, they have a will to live. And, being that we don't have to kill them, because we don't need meat to live, why kill them? So it does become a moral issue. Like, what is the right thing to do here? And I truly believe the answer is not to kill those animals. And plus, if you take it further, it affects the environment. Factory farming just destroys the planet as well. So
Yeah.
It's like environmental ethics, and of course, you could do it for your health as well. Joe Rogan, have you seen Joe Rogan's criticism of, he basically said that the vegan industry or the vegetarian industry kills a bunch of animals because, the animals are subsisting on the plants, and you take that, the more humans eat plants, the more that, like, a bunch of animals die due to the vegan. Have you heard that argument at all? Yeah, so that's very interesting. We obviously need something to sustain ourselves as humans, and as vegans we use like crops to sustain ourselves. So every time we cultivate these crops, there's a certain amount of animal deaths that get chopped up in the machines to harvest the wheat, harvest whatever crops we're basically going to eat. So yes, there is a certain amount of animal deaths, but it's reduced. When you go to the supermarket and you buy a burger, that directly when you buy that burger, you're consuming animal suffering. Like, that's a dead animal that you just bought. But when you buy spinach and you buy like rice or whatever, there may have been a certain amount of death used to cultivate that product. And as vegans, the real definition of veganism is to reduce animal, to not consume or buy any animal products to the best of your abilities, basically to the best you can, So by buying rice, that's more moral than buying a directly killed piece of beef. If that makes sense.
I see what you're saying, because you're saying, look, it's unavoidable, and you're prioritizing human life as paramount, while at the same time doing you're limiting the necessary evil, basically.
For sure. And, we can equate this to, like, do you drive at all? Do you have a car?
Yep.
Okay, so, there's a certain amount of deaths that happen when we drive cars. But because of the small amount of deaths, we don't stop that industry of driving cars, right? As a society, we accept that, okay, X amount of people are going to die from driving cars. It's just a part of the system that we established.
But so, you don't go ramming your car into other cars and say, well, people die anyway, so I'm going to...
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good argument.
That's what we do as vegans as far as animal cruelty and animal suffering. Just because certain, like, rodents get sucked up in these machines as we cultivate doesn't mean, since that happens, might as well go eat a steak,
That's very good.
Yep.
Solid argument, my man.
I
appreciate you, my guy. What's your name again?
Plantain. I mean, I'm on YouTube, but I don't want to, like, plug myself here.
No, you can. Go for it.
What's your channel?
Because it's so interesting.
What's your channel?
It's Plantain. I'll comment in the chat when we're done here. But,
I don't think you can put a link to your channel or anything. I don't think it'll let you, but if you email it to me, I can post it. Oh, okay, you want to tell Vin right now?
Tell me right now, because I think I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's P1ANTN. Plantain. So and I'm on Twitter and all that stuff. So.
All right, check his channel out.
Yeah.
The big homie. I appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah, man. And you guys listen to metal over here?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm a metal fan as well. So.
Oh, you are?
How did you find the chat?
Well, this is something I do. I'll go to YouTube Live and I'll just kind of search and hop into random chats just to talk about veganism, actually, and just to kind of see people's reactions. And I just typed in veganism. You guys were live, so I just hopped on and I just heard that guy. He was, like I said, I don't think he represents the majority of vegans when he says all things are sentient. So I was like, I gotta jump on just to kind of clear the air that there's obviously levels to sentience. Plants aren't sentient. I just kind of had to get that out there. So, a lot of people look at vegans as being really crazy, and I could be intense sometimes, but I've been doing a lot more yoga now, so hopefully I'm more zen. I'm still arguing my points. So,
what are you? Atheist, agnostic, theist? What are you?
I am just basically atheist. Like, yeah, is that it? Yeah, atheist.
Okay.
Agnostic, atheist. I just try to do the best I can, follow the golden rule, and try not to harm sentient creatures. So, yeah.
All right, my man.
Thank you for coming on and talking with us. Hey, email me.
Thanks, guys.
Email me one of the links to your band. I want to hear it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not in a band.
He's not in a band.
I love like I said, heavy music and all that stuff.
I thought he said he's in a band. I was like, what?
Yeah, we review metal, and there was a metal song about veganism, so that's what sparked the chat.
Cool.
All right, my guy, get out of here. I got to find somebody who disagrees with you.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, peace, guys.
Bye.
Peace. That was good.
He was damn clear on that, too.
Very, very balanced.
He was clear on his explanation. He was clear, like, his voice was clear and easy to understand. And the way that he, like, presented it was, well, I think he's right. I think that vegans come across like they're freaking nuts a lot of times. And he made it seem balanced.
Well, I think we're conflating. Yeah, I mean.
Well, I think it's an emotionally charged subject.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to pull your own. So everybody's calling him a soy boy.
Here's Wolves of Odin. Okay, I need somebody. What's up, Wolves of Odin? How you doing?
Raul, thank you.
Raul, I appreciate you. I need somebody who is completely against veganism and has good, solid arguments against veganism.
Did you see this? Sparky made his first appearance on Tool Lateralis video, but was formally introduced by the name Sparky on
the El Vitae Rebirth video. Thank you very much.
That's so cool. You know how, remember we saw that thing one time where there was like band members and then there was like they're like fans and then there was questions that were asked and who could answer the question first, like the actual band members or like the people that like follow them and stuff. We'd fail. Like I would have never been able to answer that if they were like, when did Sparky come on?
I know.
First introduced, it sounded so professional too.
Yeah. It was like one of those trivia things.
Yes,
with the
that's
movies.
what I'm saying. Thanks for the super chat. By the way.
Okay, so who disagrees that veganism is a good thing? Who believes that we need... Hey, by the way, Planted, call me again. I have a question for you.
Maybe he's not even here anymore.
Hey, it's right there.
Oh, he is?
Forgive Hall. Actually,
so I sometimes
I'm telling him to call, but
we have the number.
Yeah, we have the number. Okay.
So you calling him?
Are there vegan chicken tendies? That's hilarious.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Okay, I need a serious person who's against veganism to call me. Hey, Planting.
Oh yeah. So you want me to go against them, or you want to hear their points?
No, actually, I called you for a random question because somebody sent a question and it was part of the music video. What's your take on abortion?
So as far as veganism, we're concerned with sentient animals, right? So, it's a tough call, but this is basically my position. So, are you religious at all, or what?
Don't worry about me. I just want to know what your take is on the question.
All right. Usually, this is brought to me by like people who are religious, usually Catholic, right?
I've got a pro-life atheist in the room.
Okay, so basically, where does life begin? That's usually a question. But my question is, where does sentient life begin? So, if the baby isn't sentient, then I won't have a problem with abortion. So, but the question is, when is the baby sentient? So then we would have to turn to science. And I forgot the number of weeks science says that the cognitive thought of the baby begins to develop where they're aware of their surroundings and basically have that will to live. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it was somewhere between like 22 weeks or 24 weeks. So let's say before 22 weeks, the baby isn't sentient. Then I wouldn't have a problem with abortion. But if it's after that mark, if the baby's developing and they develop sentience, then I'm against abortion.
So
that makes sense.
Okay, so then you don't have a problem with eating eggs then?
I was going to say, yeah.
No, I do have a problem with consuming eggs, and that's a multifaceted reason why. I mean, the egg industry, if the hen hatches the eggs and it's a male chicken, they'll just grind it up. They'll literally, if you can look up videos of this, you put the chickens into a blender and you can see the little chickens go into the blender and grind it up, and the blood goes all over the place. So it's definitely a cruel industry, and plus, the hens just keep laying eggs. Like, no one wants to keep laying eggs like that.
Well, no. Let's say I owned a little farm. Would you and I was nice to my hens. Would you eat the eggs?
No, I still want to eat the eggs.
But they're not.
To my next point is because of the nutritional content of those eggs. It has so much cholesterol and so much saturated fat that it's not worth consuming. I was actually asked this question at a recent dinner party, like, what's wrong with eggs? They're full of proteins, and the reality is they're not. It's full of cholesterol.
Okay.
And, consuming cholesterol does affect your cholesterol levels, for sure. So
if I took an egg and just smashed it to the ground, you wouldn't have any moral issue with that at all?
I would have no, not if it's like if your hen had a egg, it laid it, and you smashed it to the ground. No, I wouldn't have a problem. But if you went to the store, bought the eggs, started smashing them, you still kind of bought into the consumerism aspect of the animal agriculture industry. You bought the eggs, basically creating demand for those eggs. So I would be against that.
When you say sentient, do you mean is that like conscious? Is that what you mean? So go ahead.
Yeah. I guess you could equate the two.
So
being conscious.
So would you be fine with if they wait until their cow is asleep and then killing the cow? Then would you eat that meat?
No, because like if you're asleep, you're still conscious, right? You still have the ability to become conscious.
Well, yeah.
Does that make sense?
But the baby has an ability to become, like, the baby's is developing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asleep, it's just a matter of hours before you become conscious. And if you're a baby at 19 weeks, it's just a matter of a few days until you become conscious. What's the difference?
Right, but you could take that into obscure aspects. Like, that's why I said usually this is brought to me through a religious connotation, like, when does life begin? And that's a good question. When does life begin? Does life begin at conception, or does it really begin at the sperm cell? Because the sperm is alive.
Well, that's not a question. I mean, that's not a scientific. There's no scientific debate. I mean, the sperm hits the egg. There you go. There's no debate about that. Which scientist is debating that?
I'm not saying any scientist is debating that, but it's usually like, when does life begin? Like, what is life? There's a lot of living things. Like, I'm saying that a sperm cell is living as well. And as soon as it hits the egg, it's still living. It's like conception, yes, but it's not a sentient life.
A sperm cell is not an organism. It's not. It doesn't have its own. Like, a sperm cell has all my DNA, but once you combine a sperm and an egg, it's got its own separate DNA tree. That's long before it becomes "quote unquote" sentient.
Okay, but like I said, I wouldn't have any problem stopping that. Aborting that early conception.
All right. Thanks, my guy.
Yeah, no worries. And I just want to say one thing. Sorry, I keep taking up your time, but someone was calling me a soy boy earlier, and I want you guys to also research soy. That a lot of the times that's what they feed the animals, and if you're consuming any type of animal products, especially any type of red meats or cow meats, you're consuming soy for sure. And not only that, but soy isn't that bad for you. Just so you know.
All right.
Soy is not bad for you? I thought it was good for you.
Well,
yeah, it is. It is.
There's
a debate on that?
Because somebody just said soy is bad. Grains are. Oh, she's just joking.
Yeah,
just
I was like, I've never heard of that.
All right, my guy, I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Soy has estrogen. Okay.
Hey, what time are you supposed to get on with the other people?
I'm good.
Okay.
At the pre-conscious stage, it might as well be a fingernail. No, it's not a fingernail. Like I said, if you take my fingernail, I've got my own. Alec is in here. He can attest to this. This is not a debate. It's a separate human life. I mean, that's science. We're not gonna mess around with science. Good Lord, we won't have anything to stand on. Are babies born with new cells? Yes, Alan Thompson. That's what I believe.
As do I.
What does it matter if soy has estrogen or not? Like, how does that affect anything? Yeah, Albany Rose. See, like, I asked the abortion question, Albany, and he asked me if I was religious. I said it's not relevant. I've got a atheist pro-lifer in my camp, in my village, so it doesn't matter. I agree. Let's not ignore science. Now, yeah, that's kind of like, oh, it's got estrogen, you're not really alive, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Elio Mike. Oh, I've got two pro-life atheists. Elio Mike is a pro-life atheist. I didn't know that. So about ladies' weekend. Guys, I have 13 minutes left because I got another appointment. I always find it ironic. I notice it's generally the anti-religious people who want to bring up religion and God first. Yeah, that is interesting. Although the big homie wasn't anti-religious. He just prefaced the question by asking, if we were religious.
Yeah. Probably just wants to be conscious and not say something that's too offensive.
Right.
But we're not like that. You can say what you gotta say. Like, I wouldn't say be intentionally like a jerk, but like say what you have to say. Don't hold back because we're Christians. I always find that a conversation is harder to have when everybody's like trying to like I don't know, like make everything okay and like trying to be like politically correct and everything. Like, it's hard to get places in the discussion.
Yeah. Like we're pretty hard to offend.
Yeah.
I mean, good night. We had the Nazi guy on. Good Lord. We're hard to offend. Okay. So, Ladies Week. I'm not opposed to doing a Ladies Week, but we have so many projects that we have to do. We've got the Pink Floyd project. We got the Pink Floyd project. We have the Watch a Movie with You Guys project, which we're going to do. We all committed to doing this month. So, and
we still have to do the
17th.
breakdown of the Pink Floyd. We said The Wall.
Yeah.
Then there was also discussion of what was the other one?
We got to do the movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
I thought there was another.
So.
Yeah.
Well, Pink Floyd is non-metal. Pink Floyd is not a metal band. But there is another Ladies Week coming.
And we have a couple of the reactions to do with people. Okay,
Wolves of Odin. If you want attention, you have my attention. I have 10 minutes left. If you want to call in and talk, call in and talk. But otherwise, I mean, I can just ban you from the channel. I don't want to. I want to talk to you. If you want to talk, let's talk. But if you're going to say all this craziness, then obviously you got to go, my guy. And then we've got your Dirk and Tina's discussion, and when we just filmed the discussion today with Alec.
Well, and the other.
So there's
there's another Dirk and Tina discussion?
Well, no, we haven't published that yet.
Yeah. Well, that one's ready though. I think I already fixed that one all up.
So.
Inshallah.
Thank you, Charisse Queen Bee. We appreciate you. React to Earthlings. That's actually a good point.
Yeah, I know. I thought of that, but oh my gosh. Yikes.
Download the video and react to it. Jeez.
I don't know if I'm going to do well with something like that. I think...
How graphic is Earthlings, 1 to 10?
I literally only saw clips of those other things. I could only stay on for like 25 seconds maybe.
And Albany, very good argument. I agree. Okay, Matthew Winter, you're going to be my last caller because I got a thingy. Gosh, it's 10 out of 10 on graphic?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yo.
What's up?
So,
you didn't say his name.
So some food for thought because I saw what the topic was going to be. So I actually started thinking about it. And you kind of touched on it a little bit by going into the abortion thing. But I was asking myself, what are the arguments that we normally use, to be against abortion? Can it feel? Does it have a beating heart? Is there a nervous system? Is it aware of its surroundings? All these stuff. And animals check all those boxes.
Yeah, that's why those are all bad arguments.
Yeah, right. But, so, on the flip side of that, I was also thinking, we have a prefrontal cortex, which science tells us that's where logic and reason and that stuff happen. It's why we have a forehead and most animals don't, because that part of their brain doesn't form. So the question is then, going back to the first guy, the whole Descartes thing, I think therefore I am, does our ability to reason make us, a higher level of organism?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of days in which a fetus doesn't have that developed. So are you saying that, like, let's say 3 weeks in, it's cool to have an abortion because that's not developed?
Well, of course not. I mean, you know where I stand on that,
So what's your ultimate reason for why we shouldn't have abortion?
I'm kind of just throwing this out as, stuff to think about, really kind of for all of us. On the flip side of the reason argument, because we have reason, should we not be responsible with that reason
and come to the correct conclusions.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a challenge. If he was still here, I would respond to it. Albany Rose, a parasite is its own species feeding off a different species. A fetus cannot be a parasite. Whoo! Y'all better not mess with Albany Rose, man. She's not playing with y'all.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of been my rabbit trail the past few hours as I saw what the topic would be.
Yeah.
Those were kind of my talking points.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So I think the takeaway for all of us is that we just need, with power comes responsibility, they say. So I think with the ability to be logical and the ability to reason comes responsibility to, we have the ability to logically, make excuses for why we do bad things. And maybe, we should, rather than that, we should logically reason why we should be doing good things.
Right on. I agree with you 100,000,000% on that, my guy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Those are my top points. You hit most of those in the previous discussions. It's just, always food for thought with you guys. So, thanks for keeping my head working.
I appreciate you, my dude.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye,
Love you too, my brother.
Too.
Bye, guys.
Ben Webb is not a troll. He just says really provocative things. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of arguments for abortion do characterize the human being that's being developed as a parasite. And I think that we have to. This is why I'm so big on you have to understand history, because that is the exact same tactic that Hitler used. He compared the Jews to parasites among the German people. And you have to start dehumanizing the segment of human beings that you want to eradicate from your world. You cannot face the harsh reality that you are cool with killing another human being. So you have to dehumanize them. And so I've talked to literally hundreds of people about this topic, and the word parasite comes up often. So Ben Webb is not a troll. This is one of the things that people say.
Albany said she friend requested us. She's like, total creeper. No, I don't think that's creepy at all. I'm very excited about it.
Well, we're the ones that went after her.
Yeah, I know. Like how... and we've been talking about you today.
No, Shay. Parasite has a very scientific definition. Sister Albany has already delineated that clearly. I mean, look, Francesca Minerva wrote an opinion piece. She's a bioethicist, and she wrote a piece called "Why Should the Baby Live?" And I challenge everybody to read it, because she says, "Look, we need to call this for what it is. We are killing human beings. End of story. And we got to be okay with that." There are many people on the pro-abortion, pro-choice, whatever you want to call it side, who have come out and said, look, guys, let's call this what it is. And I appreciate that. Now, Francesca Minerva's conclusion are horrific and nightmarish, but at least she's being honest. And I think that we've got to be honest about what's happening in our culture. If you choose to make that decision, you need to know exactly what's happening.
Yep.
Saying it's a parasite, and then you have a second child in your womb who is ontologically equivalent to the first child that you aborted is an extremely traumatic event if you try to convince somebody that they're dealing with a parasite. Not the same thing. So let's just be honest here about what we're doing. The species that we're eradicating are Homo sapiens. Full stop. This is scientific. This is not an argument.
Yeah. There's no debate here.
Like, the only debate is it moral to kill those human beings? That's the question. But the fact that there are human beings, that's the species that we're dealing with, is beyond question. Right. And if you want to make the parasite argument, when the child is born, that doesn't change.
Right.
All they do is suck up resources and they contribute nothing.
Yeah.
Which was Francesca Minerva's point. Because Francesca Minerva's point was we should be able to kill a child after it's born. Because she said the same logical deductions that brought you to killing them in utero, you should be able to apply ex utero. So, there you are. So I'm not here to demonize anybody, but I do want to hold the line on facts. We got to stay with facts. Right, Albany. That's a very good point. What is happening is black and white. We're taking the life of a human being. But why a girl ends up on that table... There are 50 million abortions in this country estimated, and there are 50 million reasons why, and none of them are the exact same. Even if the circumstances are similar, that individual being on that table has a very separate story. And because of that, I'm not here to judge anyone.
Right.
So, there we go. I didn't say anything about the Bible. My sister in the chat was just dropping some science on us about what we're doing when we're having an abortion. Okay, guys, I know that we usually do this for 2 hours, but I promised somebody that I would be available, and so I gotta go. I will say, Planting, I appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say, Chris, that's my guy, Underground Metal Elitist. Check out his channel. He's a really good dude, good brother. And obviously, Albany Rose, we love you. You were amazing. Thank you for the assist. You said some stuff today that I didn't know that are in the
vault.
In the vault. And Pony and everybody that wanted a ladies' night, we got to do that soon. Wolves of Odin, everybody say goodbye to Wolves of Odin because
I can't continue the room because Vin's going to be using the same computer and the internet. So, and I'm in on the next call too. So
yeah, Wolves of Odin, everybody say goodbye to him because we'll never see him again. So there's that. Yeah, goodbye, sir. Good Lord, what is wrong with people? I swear.
No, you have to remove from channel. That just deleted that message.
Oh, okay.
I got it.
Oh, poor fella.
No, you gave him the chance to stop.
I did.
And he didn't.
I did.
You know, he can still watch the content, but he
did.
just can't spew his venom.
I would have talked to the brother.
I know.
I really would have talked to him.
And that's still open. If you want to call, Skype us, or send us a message privately, and we'll have a discussion. But until that discussion is had, we will not be having comments like that.
That's Varg behind the account. Probably. An individual got banned because we extended the offer to have a conversation, and he didn't want to have the conversation. So.
Yeah, but he was saying racist, stuff against Jews and stuff.
Yeah.
So
we're not going to. The Jews have been through enough on the planet. Good Lord.
We asked him to stop, and he did not want to stop or have a conversation. So we're at an impasse.
Yep. Alec.
What do you? Gone but not forgotten. R.I.P. Not like Doug. Doug is always welcome back.
Right. All right. Thank you guys so much. I don't know if we're going to be doing a reaction to that show because that movie. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll have to think about it.
Yeah.
But it is important. God Almighty. I feel like that's going to screw us up for a while.
Yeah, and I don't know if. I just. Yeah.
If people knew what was going on in your head right
There's
now.
multiple things going on in my head.
But I know.
No, the thing that you
I
think
know
it
one
is
of
was
them.
third on the list.
Okay.
But
okay.
yeah.
All right. All right. I keep saying goodbye.
Yeah, I know. You know what I do? I have to
Wait,
just end it for you.
whoa. Next live show. The next live show,
We'll
I don't
let you
know.
know.
Probably a day or two.
We will let you know.
Probably a day or two. Everybody check out Planting Site 2. All right, I got to go. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
We have people that need to talk to us.
I know. That's why I'm saying let's go.
We have to go.